It's extremely hard stainless steel. It's been tempered differently, so yeah, we're fighting with it. We're gonna be fighting it the whole project, unfortunately. It is what it is. Oh, Jackson, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, guys, I'm not used to actually engraving on such hard steel. So this will be an interesting fight. Do Vivid, yep, old school spoons right here. Stainless steel, baby. Those old school spoons, though, they were made out of sterling silver. At least the nice ones. That's why they're called silverware, obviously. But you know, those cut nicely, actually. If you can ever hand engrave one of those, you should. So stainless steel like this is probably going to take some more refining. If you can see, this is a high carbon piece of steel. This versus that, the glare or the gloss is so much nicer on high carbon steel when it's flare cut. This is a lot more dull, so we'll probably have to hand polish it a little bit more afterwards. But yeah, so this is high carbon steel. It cuts nicer. But stainless steel will do. If you guys tuned in earlier, I had to take off quickly, but we were working on a little pendant. This is stainless steel, also very hard. But I was going to do an insignia right in the middle with some scroll work on the top and the bottom. That'll be another project for one of these days this week. So let's keep going though. Working on this portion now. We're going to work on the ivy leaf at the end. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's see. Keg Dog, no. Richard Lopez, what does the engraver look like? So, well, the engraver's me. I mean, you can see some of my videos, but the graver, so we call this the graver. This is the Steve Lindsay pneumatic air graver. And then we've got the 120 cmax carbide bit from GRS. The Gilly Bro, just a beautiful piece of stainless steel tonight. If you're truly wondering what the full thing looks like, you guys can head over to my shorts. Due to YouTube policies, I can't show the full project here. I can only show tidbits and pieces. So I'm gonna drink some of my kombucha tonight. B-Wrap, B-Wrap and Trappin'. We can work with stainless steel, mild steel, high carbon steel, titanium, brass, all the non-ferrous metals really. Aluminum works too. I hate aluminum though, it's kind of gummy. It basically sticks. And it just kind of, it's almost like clay with engraving. So it kind of sucks. Doesn't leave a very nice luster or nothing like that. So usually with aluminum, I just tell people to just go get a laser engraved and then polish. Just because it's kind of a waste of time with hand engraving that portion. Appreciate it. Thank you for the compliments. As far as the vise goes, guys, yes, I am using basically a ball vise. It's called a ball vise. If you guys want to go look them up, GRS sells them. Steve Lindsay sells them. Pepe Tools will sell them as well. It's called a ball vise or a jeweler's ball vise. Do Vivid? Yeah, it is a little bit. I still kind of know what I'm doing anyways when it comes to like the design, but yeah, it's a little bit more challenging. I guess it'll be kind of cool when I uncover it. It's kind of like a surprise for me. I'll either love it or hate it. Hopefully I love it. Do Vivid, what do you do for art? Bloodbath, man, that'd be a lot of work. I ain't gonna lie, that'd be a lot of work. You know, I've actually seen somebody, there's a Japanese, I think there's a Japanese like custom car maker or something like that, customizer that they hand dremeled, so I'm not a huge fan of dremeling for engraving. But they hand dremeled an entire GTR. I think it's like an orange GTR. Beautiful work. Also, there's a guy on what's his Ernesto Perez. He has a lowrider. I don't know if he does his own engraving. It's simple engraving, don't get me wrong, but I mean, he engraved his entire lowrider. Wild, you know. And it might not be somebody's forte with lowriders, but you gotta commend the artwork, the time. In the amount of devotion into your car to engrave every single nut and bolt. I looked at that and I was like, wow, that's a lot of work. Carson Glover, yeah, man, I am. Dude, I'm up way too late past my bedtime right now. Oh, nice. So you work a lot with, oh, shiza. Sorry, guys, I almost dropped my kombucha drink in here. Woo! I don't know if you guys like this stuff. It's one of my favorites. Not that I'm getting paid by them or nothing, but love my situ. Man, that'd be awesome. I'd love to live in Hawaii. I don't think I could afford it though. I have a couple buddies who live there, and they tell me the wild pricing on stuff. Gorgeous place though. Absolutely would love it. I'd be one of those surf bums out there. Old surf bum, I guess. Love my C2, man. I'm gonna have to look at that. That'd be kind of cool. And any other engravers on here, that's a good business idea right there. If anybody else is on here, man, I'm not a business hog. So if somebody else has the vision and can do it and execute it, do it. Ray Tyree, I've been doing it for a little over 2 years now, pretty diligently. I started with laser engraving, and I hate laser engraving now. Like, I don't think I've ran my laser engraver in like, probably 2 or 3 weeks. I just find so much more pleasure in hand engraving than laser engraving. I'll be totally honest, when I was laser engraving, I'd use these patterns that I'd find, or I'd kind of copy somebody else's. And you don't realize how jacked up you are until you start to understand the art of scroll work and drawing it all the time, and then looking at the master engravers. And then I realized just how jacked up I was. Galaxy, hey man, you wanna, just put a lien on your house. Buy this piece of jewelry tonight. One-time offer. Mitch, I am carving I'm engraving a stainless steel piece of metal. That's all I can really elaborate. Just due to YouTube policy. If you do want to look at the full project, head on over to my shorts. I think my last short shows it, and you'll understand why I'm having it to do it this way. In fact, I'm gonna shift you guys over to look through the microscope. So now you guys can actually see the microscope. That's what I see through the microscope right now. Obviously, there's microscopic errors, as you can see, but for the most part, I'm happy with it. Galaxy, usually there's not. Usually I'm done polishing, but with stainless steel, it doesn't polish near as nice. Got to make sure that I'm still within YouTube regulations real fast, guys. Sorry. Got to make sure you guys can't see certain things. As I move this around, it's because it's YouTube and they're kind of finicky about stuff. All right. I'm gonna move this stuff over so I can finish this side. getting this set, guys. Sorry. Almost where I need to be at. There we go. We're set. Ready. Cover up some of the other stuff, because this is just a piece of nice metal, guys. Nice stainless steel metal that we are engraving tonight. Later on, we'll change it into something else. All right, I can zoom out a little bit, set you guys straight. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm gonna go ahead and engrave while you guys can see under the microscope to show you what I mean, and teach you some stuff here. So, if you guys can see, this is my graver. It's polished. You can start to see some scarring, and that's just due to the stainless steel being so hard. Man, that metal's hard right there, that's for sure. We're gonna fix that little chip at the front, as you can see right there. That little chip is gonna give us an issue. So you guys will see me do this. All right, let's get this going. The Winston double. So as far as like with the traditional engraver, that's a hard one. I think it'd take a lot longer. And one of the big issues you're going to run into with this style of engraving is that you have to cant the graver, like your forehand cut and your backhand cut. And so that's the issue you have. If you look at how I'm cutting, I'm going to show you guys under here. So I'm usually I'm cutting like one side this way and then I'm coming the other way this way. So I'm kind of making that V shape in the middle you guys see right here to give the light reflection. That's pretty hard to do by just a zoom lens or like a zoom optic. My hammer and chisel's nowhere near that good. Maybe some of the master engravers from Italy. Maybe they can pull it off. But flare cutting on steel is just hard because of that. You can do it on non-ferrous metals. A lot of the cowboys, Western engravers do it. It's one of the more popular cuts for a lot of like the silver saddle work and stuff. But I can't imagine how I could do it with hammer and chisel, because a lot of those guys are doing it with push method on non-ferrous metals. Yarby, I'm using the Steve Lindsay air graver, the classic. I also use the GRS, I have the GRS Graver Mach AT, the newest one, and it's awesome. It's an air hog. So I don't like it as much just because it ends up turning on my compressor a few times. And I have a pretty big compressor. I have a 26-gallon compressor. That's pretty big for like a graver. Usually people just use these small pneumatic ones. Sorry, the small air compressors, like the 5-gallon ones. All right, guys, there it is. This part is finished for a little while. I'm gonna have to reset real fast to finish another portion. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna put you back under the microscope. The Winston Double, thank you. Again, thank you for being a member. Again, guys, if you guys don't know, if you remember, I usually try to answer most of the questions from members or any donations. All right, let me reset. It's gonna take me a second, guys. Sorry, I've gotta take all this tape off. Give me 1 second, guys. Almost there, almost there. Thank you for being patient with me. I've had to figure out ways how to show my art with YouTube being so picky. So we're finding out ways how to do it. Fantastic. It's set. All right, guys. Fantastic. Make sure you guys can actually see it. There we go. Sorry guys, and I'll make a full video, like I'll post it on my actual channel on like the finished everything. See if I can get my rotation right on here. Part of the issue you run into with this stuff is getting the rotation right on your ball vise. You've got to center everything. If it's not centered, then it looks off. Right, let's see if we can find center. All right, we're centered there. We're good. So I'll center you guys as well. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate any subscriptions I get. It's been an honor to be here with you guys, doing this, enjoying it. Hopefully I can teach some people to pick it up as well. Inspire some. Buku, I would start with learning how to draw this scroll work. That'd be the first thing I do, and then you need to get yourself a graver, whether it's hammer and chisel. I'd say hammer and chisel first. It's the cheapest way to do it. Or you can do push graving. By push graving, I mean like you can grab, let me show you. It's just a tool like this. I got this off of Temu for like $2. It's a carbide bit, and you can get copper. This is a copper bit, and you can start push graving. So push graving's nice because you don't even need to have power. You just engrave. And you can start push graving and learning how to do a lot of the stuff. I need a sharper tip. This needs to be sharpened. But essentially, I'll just use this to give you an example. No power needed. And you can just... And I need to work on my push graving. That's your push graving. As far as sharpening the carbide gravers, you need a diamond wheel or a diamond sharpening stone. You can get them pretty inexpensively on eBay. I honestly got them pretty cheap, so those work just fine. Some people swear by like the really nice, expensive ones, but I found that the ones from eBay work just fine. So no need to have to go get some expensive ones yet, especially if you're starting out. You don't want to do that. Tex 1313. Yeah, man. Drawing is the hardest part when it comes to engraving. If you can learn the drawing portion and design, that makes pretty good money. I mean, there are plenty of people that don't know how to do it that are doing laser stuff. They have to pay people to make designs. So if you can learn how to draw scroll work first, you can technically pay yourself your equipment by drawing and designing stuff for people that don't know how to do it. And I'm not dogging on them just to dog on them, because I was one of those guys. But a lot of the laser engravers do not understand scroll work design. And I'm not just saying that to hate on them. I was there. I was them. And even now, I still don't do great scroll work compared to some of the masters. So, having a good understanding of how scroll work is designed is probably one of the key fundamentals to stuff. Tex, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Eric and Smith. I don't know the difference, I guess, maybe. If it's different, let me know. But basically, it's filigree, scroll work design. I guess I've kind of known it as both. Not sure if there really is a difference. Maybe there is. Charlie's Chicken, GRS.com, Steve Lindsay, sells Eric & Smith. This is a carbide tungsten. I think it's a cmax graver, but like the one I have, I'll go ahead and show you guys. All right, let me go ahead and show you. All right, guys. Okay, so this is a chaser. I got this from GRS. I use this for some stuff to practice, especially my hammer and chisel. This is a carbide tip right there. Goes in like that. Now I usually use my chasing hammer that I've got right here, and essentially I'll just sit here and just tap away. So usually I hold it like this. I'll set, and then I basically tap. Just like that. So nothing too crazy. Pretty fun. Kevin Widner, I don't do any commissions anymore. Strictly trying to do education and teaching people how to do it, and then kind of doing my own little art projects. This is a practice plate right here. I highly suggest getting a practice plate if you guys are going to do stuff. Once you guys get into the more advanced stuff, you guys can look at doing deep relief, or this is a copper inlay right here. This is brass inlay right here. This is a practice plate. Another copper inlay. I screwed this one up. You can see where all the splotches are at. This is another thing I've got going on. Got to try to figure out how to fill in the back. Right there. Charlie's Chicken, it just depends on how much you want to spend. Honestly, how much do you want to spend? What's your budget? Like that's the question. You could technically spend $100,000 on top of the line gear. Everything, everything out there, carbide tips, machinery, stands, the ball vices, everything like that. But if you tell me you have a $100 budget, now we're working with something different. So really it just depends on how much do you want to spend. If you tell me you have like a $10 limit, I'm going to tell you right off the rip, go find some old chisel on like Facebook Marketplace that somebody will give you. Find a hammer, a chasing hammer would be better, and then learn how to harden steel and how to temper steel. And then we're looking at sharpening a chisel like this, and then you're just going to use it like that. I mean, you can literally get away with that. Charlie's Chicken, $300. All right, so you're going to need, first things first, I would say, get yourself some practice plates, like copper. Get copper practice plates. Gonna cost you about $10, $10, $20 max. Go on eBay afterwards and try to find some old push gravers, some used push gravers. You can maybe even find them brand new. These are going to be high carbon, like high speed steel. These are your push gravers. Now this is old school work, right? Get those and start to learn how to sharpen them. You're going to need some sort of sharpening stone. You don't need a diamond sharpening stone because it's just steel. If you get a carbide tip, now you're going to need diamond sharpening stones and all this other jazz. Okay? Hopefully this only costs you, if you can find some used pair or like a cheap pair, it should only cost you maybe $40. Okay? And then the next thing, this is probably the most important thing. Get yourself some educative material. The Art of Engraving. This is probably one of the best books. Even master engravers say this is probably your best book out there to get if you're beginning into engraving. It teaches you everything, basically. We go through a lot of the stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, it teaches you design work, how to get set up, drawing, everything right there. Again, The Art of Engraving by James B. Meek right here. Tex 1313. I will try to get some hardness stuff out eventually. Hopefully my channel, I can grow it big enough to where I'd love to do this full time and just teach you guys everything, honestly. I'd love to do it. It just takes time, takes effort. So, but yeah, guys, hopefully you guys had a good time tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna call it a night. I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I appreciate you guys, everything you guys do. Keep being good people. Love you all. Dio Lalo's out. Peace.